Howdy folks, welcome back to World of Tanks with the mighty Jingles. Today I've got two replays for you, and the first one is the Object 140 driven by nuclear hot dogs. People often say, Jingles, why do you pronounce it nuclear? I don't. It's just my accent. I am aware that there is an L that comes after the C in nuclear. It's just the way it sounds when I say it. But yeah, nuclear. You've got look what you've got me doing now. Don't make me call him Dave. Nuclear hot dogs, Object 140, Russian Tier 10 medium tank. So anyway, the Object 140, one of the many Russian Tier 10 medium tanks. What can we say about this tank? What makes this tank different to the Object 430 or the T62A? Good question. I'm so glad you asked, and the answer is not a lot. I have to admit. I mean, when the T62A was brought into the game, it was like, oh look, it's a Tier 10 medium tank for the Russians. It's kind of like the T54. You know, hull down, it's great, it's fast, it's got elements of heavy tank armour from certain angles, but it's manoeuvrable, it's got a bouncy turret, it's got a rapid firing, low alpha damage, high DPM gun. It's what you expect of a Russian Tier 10 medium. And then they brought out the Object 430. Or was it the 140? No, the 140 came next. And, oh look, it's a fast, mobile, manoeuvrable Russian Tier 10 medium with a bouncy turret and a rapid firing, low alpha damage, high DPM gun. Gee, I wonder what one of those looks like. Then they brought out the Object 430, and yeah, more of the same. And, you know, a lot of people say, well, what the hell's the point? I mean, do we really need another one? What exactly are the differences between these three tanks? Which one should you go for? If you had the choice of all three of the Russian Tier 10 mediums, why should you go for one over any of the others? Well, the Object 140 is the fastest of the three. Not by much, but it is the fastest. It also has the best gun depression. It has a grand total of 1 degree more gun depression than the better of the other two. The differences are pretty minimal. And in the hands of most players, all three of them play pretty much exactly the same way. It's only when you get a very good player that you're actually able to see somebody exploit the minimal differences between these three tanks to their best advantage. The T62A, for example, while its hull armour is reduced over that of its predecessor, the T54, it gets a very, very strong turret, which would make it great in hull down positions, except it has very bad gun depression. But that turret armour, in positions where you can take advantage of it on the T62A, makes it almost like a heavy tank in certain circumstances. You never feel like you're driving a heavy tank with the Object 140. It is very much a pure, fast, agile, manoeuvrable, rapid-firing medium tank. So it's a 3-on-2 fight, although it's not going to be a 3-on-2 fight for very long, as the M48 rushes around to assist the T71 in taking out the Tiger II. Delirious breaks contact from the two pursuers at the rear, very rightly chases down and kills the Type 61. He's the easiest kill, removes that very dangerous 105mm gun from the fight. M48 wastes no time coming around behind him, repairs his tracks, gets his front pointing towards the M48, bounces a shot off his turret, works him over with his superior rapid-firing gun. M48 thinks, screw this, I'm out of here, drives off around the corner, straight into a T57 Heavy, who seriously rustles his jimmies. The ISU 152 up there does not appear to have the faintest idea what is going on anywhere other than immediately to his front. Nuclear Hot Dogs finishes off the T71, spots the E100 coming in, keeps the wreck between himself and the E100, allowing it to put another shot into the ISU 152, who still hasn't turned around. E100 focusing his fire on the T57 Heavy. Nuclear Hot Dogs, ineffective fire on the flank of the E100, backs off, finishes off the ISU, turns around, drives off in order to get around the rear of the E100. As he's doing that, he suddenly spots danger. Over to the left, there is a Tiger II, threatening the flag. Tiger II's on full health. Tiger II's looking his way, does not want to get shot in the side when he's driving an Object 140, backs off, while the T57 Heavy is keeping the E100 occupied, thinks, screw it, E100 is the bigger immediate threat. Tiger II fires at him and misses, takes advantage to chase round on the E100. The T57 Heavy has just emptied his magazine, which means that the E100 is now focusing on him, trying to kill him before he can reload. He manages to get one shot into the T57 Heavy. T57 Heavy sees his rescuer appearing, backs off out of the way, give him a clear shot into the rear of the E100, finishing him off and saving the T57 Heavy. But now he knows exactly what's going to happen. That Tiger II is about to start capping, and there it is. Now, this is a patch 9.2 replay, and you can tell it's a patch 9.2 replay because of what's about to happen. First he fires on the move, hits the Tiger II in the rear, sets the engine on fire. Now that's not special. You shoot any tank in the engine, and you stand a decent chance of setting the engine on fire. Tiger II takes cover behind the rock, still in the cap circle. Nuclear Hot Dogs moves up, puts a shot into his tracks, which is all he can really hit from there, keeps him immobilised. Tiger II returns the favour. However, from here, he can still hit the Tiger II's lower glacis. In patch 9.2 and earlier, for reasons known only to the game developers, it was possible to set on fire the engine at the rear of certain German tanks by shooting the transmission in the front of certain German tanks. That got patched out in version 9.3. You know, because reasons. So, victory for Soviet Russia. But now, of course, there's only 2 of them left. Now, Nuclear Hot Dogs has not a lot of health. Assuming those 2 tier 8 mediums, 2 tier 8 heavies are using the best available guns, one shot from each of them is enough to kill him. And he doesn't want to be getting shot up by that Waffenträger E100 at all, but he does know exactly where they all are. The 2 tier 8 heavies have crossed the river to chase down the T28 prototype, and the Waffenträger is on the other side of the river. Now, while the Object 140 may have better gun depression than the other 2 Russian tier 10 mediums, it's still not that good, and he still has to expose quite a bit of himself to point the gun down over the side. But it does have a very good aiming time, which is monstrously bad news for that Waffenträger E100, and a very fast reload, which is bad news for the T32. The T32 is now a one-shot kill. The 4502A has almost 900 health, and if that T28 prototype can't at least do some damage to him, and he can't, then Nuclear Hot Dogs is going to have to put one shot into the T32 and at least 3 shots into the 4502A in order to win this game. Between the 2 of them, they just have to shoot him once each, and they can still win. And we know exactly where they are. They're both cowering behind that building right there. They're both sitting there looking at each other saying, go on, you go first. And, well, clocks are ticking. I mean, there's still plenty of time left, but Nuclear Hot Dogs is a busy man. He can't afford to sit around here all day, so he advances. He's in the fast medium. He's better able to manoeuvre around the available cover than either of those 2 guys. Plants one into the 4502A, who does not get off a return shot. T32 makes a complete mess of coming around that corner, kills him without doing any further damage. Still got to hit this 4502A 2 more times, and the 4502A gives him his arse. Come on, 4502A. Just hit him once. Just shoot him once. Do it for Rommel. Come on, here we go. Well, he did hit him once, but he managed to shoot him in the only place where it wasn't going to do any damage, the front of the turret. So I guess Rommel isn't going to get his today. As for the results screen, Ace Tanker, 103,000 credits, 10,000 XP, Randy Walters, Top Gun, High Caliber Steel Wall. That'll do. That's the Object 140. This next game is spectacular, or at least I think so. I've watched this game a lot because I just could not believe. You'll know what I'm talking about when you see it. This is the Tomato Slash in the E75. He's platooned up with his buddy from the same clan, Shittigan, that's his name, not mine, okay, in the Chinese Tier 9 heavy tank, the WZ-111-4. Now, I have no experience whatsoever of driving that tank. I have no idea what it's like. I really couldn't tell you anything about it. But I do know the E75. I've had the E75 for a while. It is a very, very strong tank in the hands of somebody who has at least a basic idea of how to drive it. You have to angle the armour of that tank to make it work. What makes this special is that, yeah, okay, they're both top tier heavy tanks, but just look at the map. Look at the way their team is deploying. Now, these 2 are not great players. The Tomato Slash, his statistics are pretty average. Shittigan is actually pretty bad. And yet, watch the way they handle themselves here. Practically alone against more than half of the enemy team. They are actually outnumbered 4-1 here. Alright, the T-43 has gone far too far ahead, in the wrong place to be in a medium tank far too early. And bless him, Tomato Slash is actually aiming for weak spots at the front of the T-43 at point blank range. Not that he needs to, but hey, it's a good habit to get into. So, you know, well done. Now, get a load of this. You've got a Black Prince, you've got an SU-152, you've got a Tiger P, you've got a Super Pershing, you've got a T-29, you've got a Jag Tiger, you've got a Tiger 2. Do you have any... This is more than half of the enemy team. And there's only Tomato Slash and Shittigan in their 2 Tier 9 heavies here. But the absolute... Look, just get a load of this. In fact, I'm even stopping the video here. So there was the T-43. They're the only ones here. There's nobody behind them to back them up. There's a T-29 on the other corner on the other side. That's it. It's just the two of them here. Look at this. These are just the ones you can see, okay? T-28 prototype type. There's a Jag Tiger at the back of that road. You can't see him anymore, but he's spotted. He is up there. That's not all. Right? There's another enemy heavy tank around here as well. There's like 9 of them against these two guys. The Super Pershing, he is the only guy with a brain amongst all of these enemy tanks. Watch this. He at least understands that you've got to force through that funnel, those choke points that these two heavy tanks are commanding, and you've got to get around the sides and swarm them and overwhelm them and overrun them. But nobody else on his team is having any of this. No, they're all just going to get in each other's way, and they're just going to block the choke points, so nobody else can actually get through and take effective shots at these two guys. Yeah, they'll just keep feeding Tier 7s in one at a time. See how that works. They're making it easy. And look, there, at the back, there's another 2 just popped up. There's the Jag Tiger. And the enemy WZ Treble 1's up there as well. And look at this KV3. Alright, he's a stock KV3, but he had the choice. These two guys are both occupied with 10 enemy tanks. That KV3 had the choice of driving around and shooting the E75 at the rear, and instead he thought, no, actually, driving in front of the E75 is the best possible thing I could do here. And just look at this mess. I almost feel embarrassed for them. Look at this. Oh, he set him on fire. How can they be winning? It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I don't even... What the hell happened to... Look at this. Look at that. It's just a graveyard of bad players. Have you ever seen anything like that? What am I talking about? Of course you have. Every time you play World of Tanks. And there's the Jag Tiger. Oh, he's finally gotten involved in the fight. Well, that's nice. So glad you could turn up. Look at this. He's just thinking, well, fuck my life. That Jag Tiger managed to do the grand total, and he lasted right to the end of the match as well. 156 damage in the course of this game. A Jag Tiger in a Tier 9 match with the 128mm gun did 156 damage. What was he doing? Was he just driving into people? Was that it? I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to know. All I know is that any time I've had a game of World of Tanks and I thought, God, that team was terrible, all I do is flash this video up, watch that replay again, and suddenly that shit doesn't seem so bad. So that was the Tomato Slash and Shittigan in their Tier 9 heavies, showing you just exactly what it is possible for even an average player to accomplish when you get matched against the biggest team of chuckleheads to ever grace a multiplayer game. As always folks, take care, and I'll catch you next time.